winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Manchester United fall to the Gunners of North London 3-2. It was a thriller. It felt like a match of yesteryear from the aughts when, Arsenal were top of the table and United were nipping at their heels. But unfortunately, I think the matches caught up to United. I think the lack of depth caught up to United, and we got outplayed, frankly, by the Gunners over 90 minutes. Rashford with an incredible goal. Licha, Martinez with a great headed goal. Scrappy in the second half to tie it up. But you know what? Honestly, we held in there for large parts of the game, but we gave away two shitty goals that, this team hadn't been kind of conceding recently. And that other one was just a world-class goal. But either way, we got outplayed. You could see the difference in just their rebuild, which is 3 years in, and now ours is 6 months in. A lot to be optimistic about, but it wasn't our day, sir. It wasn't our day in London.
I mean, an exciting match for a neutral perspective. The fact we went in to their stadium, they are the odds-on favorite to win the title. Rashford opens the scoring, and I was jumping around, hooting and hollering. They get one back, they get another, we peg it back, and then obviously they put us to the sword. But a good, exciting game of football and two titans of English football. Going into these three games with City, Palace, and Arsenal, I said 4 points would be about right. We got 4 points. Now, looking back on these three games, should we have gotten more? Yeah, we probably should have gotten 7.
Yep.
We end up getting 4, and a rough taste in our mouths. But we got to be honest with ourselves. After beating City, we might have had dreamt of the title. I think I got over my skis on that one. A little pissed on the last podcast, but
Definitely.
But man, it's been a rough decade, and you get close. You want us to break on through to the other side, but you look at that bench. You look at us losing Casemiro, what that meant for the team. McTominay coming in. I mean, he did a job for sure. I mean, we competed, and that I think at the end of the day, if you're going to measure Erik ten Hag against anything, is last season this team had no fight. There weren't any dogs in the side. We weren't coming into anyone's house and scaring them. We were afraid of our own ghost. And there are some players out there who aren't out there this season. I'm looking at you, Magoo, etc. But he found a way to rally these lads around him, and we got fight, and we got dogs, and we're going into we are probably gave the title, odds-on favorite to win the title. We gave them the hardest game in their house.
Yep.
And that is a hell of a 180 from last season. It's rough because if we had a few more pieces or the Glazers gave a hoot about United winning anything, we'd probably beat them. And we probably should be trying to compete for the title this year. We're in that 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the Glazer control, and we're dying for players. Wout's not going to do it up top. The fact that we're close with him is insane. The fact McTominay's in the midfield and we're close with him in the midfield is insane. So, all around, promising signs of United, but it's all eyes on the Glazers because they're the real reason we're not going to win nothing. And you look at Arsenal in January transfer window, and they're making moves because they want to win stuff, and they believe in this manager and they're backing him. And you look at what we got is nothing against Wout. I mean, he had a good flick today,
Certainly better than the Palace game.
but he's not going to make the difference. We're not getting difference makers. Arsenal are probably in the pole position there, and they're strengthening in January, which is someone who's intent to win the title.
Yeah.
And you could look at our bench and you could say, there's not that intent from the ownership, and you see fat Richard Arnold in the stands. And
He looks as fat as ever.
that's all you need to know. It's all coming to an end. The Glazers will sell it this season.
Yep.
We found our manager. I think I can definitely say that. And it's onward and upward from here. But it's a bitter taste watching that game, sitting next to an Arsenal fan. And but you got to look at the bright side because we have come a long, long way. And I just wish we had the dogs to win this game, beat Palace, and be in the title conversation. But it's not going to be our season. We're just going to be top 4 sides or simping in that top 4. That's where we're at. We're not competing with the Titans of Europe just yet.
No, not yet. And I think the optimistic tone that you started your preamble with is the important thing, which is that even today, when I don't think we played anywhere near as good as we could have played, they were obviously in top form, but United hung in the game for long parts of it. Now, parts of the second half, we were truly hanging on and didn't have much possession or much going forward at all. But that being said, if you look at the project that's being built at Manchester United, it's really a one-man show around this new manager, Erik ten Hag, and what he's doing, what he's done in 6 months, and the amount he's gotten out of the players that he had at his disposal. AWB, he had a drop in form today, but he has come in, done an admirable job, and at the same time, the drop-off that you get from Casemiro to anybody, even a Partey, is going to be steep, but versus McTominay, it's immense, and you felt that today. Like you said, he did a decent job, but we had chances where we could have pressed forward in the second half, and he lost the ball a lot, gave it away, and Casemiro can really get a grip of it, but Rome wasn't built in a day, and this Manchester United project is early, and there's still a lot of promising signs, but we don't have the depth, and we don't even have a fit striker. Martial, once again, injury record continues. Wow, you got a striker on loan from Turkey that obviously didn't have a great record in the Premier League. And like you said, Arsenal, they just signed Trossard. They just signed another central midfielder. They're buying another defender. They are leaning in to the momentum that they have this season and trying to make the most of it and ensure that they win a title. And hats off to them, sir, because I have been calling out Arteta from day one. I've always thought he was a goofball, and even more so when you saw him in that show on whatever it was, Amazon. But, it looks like they're going to be lifting a title this season.
Who's laughing now? That's all I got to say.
Not
we were
me.
laughing at Arteta a lot, and they're Arsenal. They can still bottle it. It's only it's like a little more than halfway through. Anything can happen. For me, it's not about breaking down this game. I mean, you look at this game. Ten Hag's fighting with one hand behind his back. There's nothing else you can say. And the fact we're even in the conversation, the fact we're even putting up a fight like we did, it's pretty incredible, to be honest. And we'll get into that starting 11. Quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils, you want to support independent fan content, we don't have any sponsors on this podcast. We keep it pretty simple here because we want you guys to support us directly. Please check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils. We have behind-the-scenes content. We give away pin stickers, scarves, shirts, you name it. Please check it out. Support us. It goes a long way to keeping the lights on this small-time operation. Check out the blog, too, AmericanRedDevils.com, as well as buy some merch, AmericanRedDevils.store, scarves, beanies, hoodies, everything you need to cheer on this team. Brighter days ahead, sir. Please tell about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews or 5-star reviews of the American Red Devils. Wherever you listen, it's a great way to support the pod, and even better, all you have to do is if you write a 5-star review, we're giving away free Glazer Out scarves. Write that 5-star review, send a screenshot to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship a free American Red Devil Glazer Out scarf. Get them while they're hot. We're shipping them anywhere in the world while we got them. We got a great 5-star review coming from MUFC NALTL. 5 stars, best MUFC podcast about. These two have not only a good amount of knowledge of the football side of the game, but I love the insight into the financial aspect of the club and football in general. It has definitely elevated my knowledge. The chemistry is something that is enjoyable to listen to, and I love the biased fan take. Keep it going, John and Alex. Thank you for the 5-star review. Get your Glazer Out scarf while they last. Sir, down to the Emirates. I like that opener goal. What a goal from Marcus Rashford. We'll talk about that in a second. But what could have been today? What could have been today with a fit Casemiro? I think we win this game.
Arsenal 3, Manchester United 2 at the Emirates. Let's get into that lineup, and this is the most stunning part of this whole piece. You're going to say Manchester United lost a heartbreaker away at the favorites to win the European title, and this is who we had on the field.
It's true.
Dave says role number 1 in net. Luke Shaw, left back. Martinez, Varane, center back pairing. Wan-Bissaka at right back. McTominay, Eriksen midfield with Bruno in the hole. Rashford, Wout, Antony. Wout and McTominay and AWB. We 3 players down from our best team. Arsenal has everyone.
Yep.
Everyone fit, Jesus, firing, and help. I mean, they're not.
They have a striker. They have a number 9 who's not from the Turkish league.
Exactly. This is like even the starting 11 here is like. Ooh, I saw this. I was like, man, it's gonna be a day. I thought 3-0, 3-1. Like, wow, it's not getting a goal. I mean, like, come on, man.
He played better. He played much better than he played against Palace, I must say.
He's about what I said, and what I said was pretty controversial. A controversial take, and everyone hyping him on Twitter and be like, hey, there's the Twitter hype, and there's the what are you? and it's Burnley 2 goals and banished to Turkey is about right. He's not going to help us get close to winning anything. And then that's the real problem. It's like, yeah, can he run around number 9? Can he drag defenders? Sure, but what is he going to add? What is the only person in that front three that's doing anything is Marcus Rashford. Anthony, I could say the same exact thing about him. Yeah. What is he doing that's helping us win football games? Not a lot. You're going into the Emirates with this squad, and you got McTominay at midfield. You want to talk about the drop-off from Casemiro? He's like an EFL Cup, Nottingham Forest type of guy. That's the type of playing time he should see. And we did well. We came out in the first half. I mean, it was a little nervy to start. Arsenal had lots of the ball. They couldn't really do much with it, but Marcus Rashford, he's special. He's having a special season and kicked us off in the 17th minute.
Get through either, and here is Rashford. Marcus Rashford has rifled it in. That is a smashing goal for Manchester United. Boy, that was fierce.
Well, you cannot give the ball away in that area when United have got players of Marcus Rashford's ability and form. And he takes full advantage, he gets it out of his feet quickly, finds the ball at his feet. And there's grass in front of him and he runs into it. Nobody comes to close him down quick enough. Lose the ball here. Partey tries the long one. And now Rashford gets it. Beats his first play. Now he's in the grass. Somebody come towards him. Too late.
I mean, what he did to Partey there was unbelievable. And then the finish is just incredible for Marcus Rashford. But that was it. I mean, look, Wout got out of the way. I mean, that's about it for there. I mean, like, that's like literally he's like trying to get
tall.
out of the way. Like,
I'll give you what, he is tall.
He doesn't do.
He is tall.
He doesn't do a lot, unfortunately.
But one of the best goals, I mean, honestly, one of the best goals Rashford scored for Manchester United.
This is goal of the season.
Up there with that Chelsea free kick that he had at Stamford Bridge a couple years ago, but unbelievable goal.
He dusts one of the best midfielders in the league.
Dusts him and then bangs it from outside the box. What a goal from Marcus. When we scored this, I was like, we're in it. And then you could see the way you do. You're not making it easy on yourself.
Yeah, the problem here is that when Arsenal had the ball, we kind of like we went too deep, and then they had too many chances. We backed off way too much, invited way too much pressure. Rashford was like kind of all alone, and we couldn't hang on that long. 23rd minute.
Odegaard. Whipped in for Nketiah! In a flash, the Gunners shoot back.
This is a hard one to watch. I mean, you see what we had to do to get that first goal, and that's Rashford basically being a world-class player, being a world-class midfielder, hitting a banger. 23rd minute, far post snoozing. Manchester United, how much we see this last season.
With players back.
Like
two defenders.
Two defenders, like Wan-Bissaka's got to do something. And then, obviously, the other center backs, plenty to do there. No one around. Like, this should have been the easiest clearance.
Yeah.
And we switched off and give him a free goal. And it's like, this is brutal.
It was, because like you said, Marcus Rashford slightly gets a run of play. We had so few good chances, and he makes like just a worldly of a goal. Just, pulled out individual talent, and then to basically just hand them back the game. It was early doings, but you work so hard to get a goal. You give away one so sloppily. It
cheap.
It felt a cheap goal. It felt like the earlier in the season when we were just dishing goals free.
It felt like last season. Like, hey, free goals at the back post. Like, nobody doing
back
nothing.
Someone just banging in. And it hurt, because that's kind of the way the game went today. It was just like United would do something well, and then they would shoot themselves in the foot at the same time. So it was kind of one step forward, two step back all day. And that's the way it went.
And we would have to be perfect to get all 3 points here.
Yeah.
With
this squad.
Exactly.
Wout and McTominay playing.
28th minute, McTominay forces the keeper into a nice save with a first-time shot. And that was the first half. Come out in the second, United were much sloppier and slower. Arsenal dominated most of the play. You're starting to see Manchester United come out of the second half and just get like dominated. It's similar to Crystal Palace. Couldn't hold on. We had 8 minutes, conceding in the 53rd.
Saka. Kayo Saka! Oh!
There's nothing you can do about that. And boy, do I hate that grin of Ramsdale. Oh my God. There's not a play. I mean, Jock and Ramsdale are on like the most wanted list for this podcast. Don't like either of them.
Well, that's the thing is like this Arsenal side's pretty good. I still don't think they're as good as the points they've accumulated this season are. But hey, points don't lie. But imagine how much better they will be when they upgrade Granit Xhaka and Aaron Ramsdale. But
he's good. 55th minute, big save on Rashford.
Well, at least he's
Should've been a
physical.
goal.
Like De Gea kind of shied away in a lot of times, especially later in the game. He was like punching balls out they should have grabbed. That was atrocious. But this is a world-class goal. Once again, I think you mentioned in the first half, we just kept backpedaling, and we didn't kind of shut down players as they were coming into the box and looking to attack on United. And I think we were a little passive, and that cost us a number of occasions, sir, including the goal in the 53rd minute.
Yeah, look, you can't. The 53rd minute is just
a worldie.
It's that Crystal Palace free kick. You can't complain about the goal. You can complain about the 23rd. It should be 1-1 here, realistically. The 23rd minute should never happen. This one goes in like nothing you can do. And then obviously we peg one back with Alicia. Who saw this coming?
No.
Ericsson, Ramsdale through the crowds. 2-2. Lisandro Martinez has flung his frame at it and propelled it beyond Ramsdale into the top corner.
Sir, speaking of dogs,
There's a dog.
Speaking of dogs, you got the headband with the black eye,
Rudy,
throwing everything in it, and that's what it means to be a Manchester United player right there. And that's the fight that we got in this team, and that's what this manager has brought back to Manchester United, and we're proud to wear the shirt once again after the lows we've been through, sir. All the managers of Christmas past you hear on the intro of this podcast. I didn't see a lot of that from Manchester United. 70th minute, Saka hits the post. We were inviting pressure here. 71st minute, Fred for Anthony. Let's lock it down. Fred came on, didn't really help.
No.
He is not making me feel better when he comes on the field. He's a liability. Look, he followed Kevin De Bruyne around the pitch. Did well, but like as far as him coming on, holding the ball, slowing things down, calming it down, like not doing that great a job, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to get body Fred, but that's the player he's supposed to be. He's supposed to come in and do a job. And this gets at the real point of this is where's our squad? What can our manager really do here? Like clearly Ericsson needed a blow. Clearly Wout shouldn't be out there when we need a goal. Like
Anthony shouldn't be playing, right? He's not in form.
Anthony, exactly. And we just can't.
We don't have a number 9 on the bench. We don't even have a number 9 on the bench. We don't have an attacking midfielder on the bench.
Well, we have Elanga,
Ilanga, but he's
know.
not a number 9, and he's barely a CAM. He's like a winger. And at the same time, your only midfield options are McFred, and like their drop off is insane because if they're just not feeling it, like they can play a bit of a howler. And they weren't all bad. It's just that like when you're playing a team that's in as top form of an Arsenal side at home with momentum, it's just like McTominay gave the ball away a lot. We gave too much space, so even like that usually
this is
high work
Casemiro.
rate, I know.
This is big for Casemiro. We needed a leader.
We didn't play well enough when we were
on
still
the
in it.
field.
That was the thing. But they outplayed us, and they have a deeper squad, and they are a little bit more advanced in their process. So they're 3 years in. We're 6 months in. So optimism to be had still.
They spent less money than us. They spent
we pissed money down the drain, sir.
I'm aware. 78th minute, Bruno finds Rashford with a great weighted pass, but Rashford can't get past the keeper. Also, like Anthony had a break, but a heavy touch let him down earlier. Heavy touch. $80 million heavy touch. 84th million, Dave saves. Big save from Day. A game-saving save, point-saving save. But it was all for naught because in the 90th minute, here we go, sir. Here we go.
Zinchenko. Odegaard, it's in! Little touch on the line from Nketiah. And right at the death, the leaders have snatched it. There's more than one inquiry around this. There may be an offside question.
I thought Zinchenko was off. They didn't check that. They were checking the Fred flick. Fred doesn't clear, and then it goes right to the goal line for them to score. Look, you can hit Fred up all you want, but
He's on.
It's close. But they didn't check that right there. That comes off of Fred right there. And then you have to flicked in, yeah.
But like we had given the ball away, McTominay had just given the ball away, and then they don't close him down once again. They get a bit of luck. Keita does well. It was one of those days, sir. You felt like after we conceded the second one, that we weren't winning this game. But it's hard done to be this late because the draw would have been a really good result given, the missing piece of our squad that wasn't there today and the fact that we just didn't play up to our level.
Yeah, when that VAR line flickers, it doesn't really look straight. Like, it's funny how they don't show you the line. I really that really gets me. They don't actually show you the line. They should put the line on the field and be like this. Like you saw them draw the line really quickly, and it comes off of the TV. It's VAR has a long way to go. I thought they should have checked Zinchenko. They weren't checking that. Whether the deflection came off Fred or not. Again, this VAR but we can't complain about VAR.
We didn't deserve the win, sir. We didn't play well enough to win in this game.
I think XG Arsenal was +2. I think
they had the clear advantage.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's a heartbreaker. You thought we could have stole a point. It would have been way more interesting if we did from a table perspective.
Yeah, it would have.
And now it's
top 4 race, baby. Top 4 race. We got a 6-point cushion.
I mean, if we got the point, it would have been.
They would have been 48. We've been 8 back, but they have a game.
I mean,
I know. 11 now. I mean, they have half their games left. They're 19 in. We're 20. So it's, like you said, just over halfway point. I mean, if they keep winning, if they win another 50 points, yeah, of course, we're not going to get her close. But we don't have to play City again in the league, and we don't have to play Arsenal again in the league. And they have a bunch of big games. So it's,
they have to play City twice.
I know. So, City could do us a favor, but we have to win against the Leicesters of the world, or the Leeds of the world, against the Palace of the world. These games are coming thick and fast. Plus, we have to keep advancing in the cup competitions and move on, bro. We got Nottingham Forest. We got Reading. Those are important matches because they're steps closer to silverware, especially the Forest game, right? You win those 2 legs, and you're going to a final next month at the Wembley, sir, against a team that is not Arsenal or City. It's most likely going to be Newcastle, who are also a strong side, but a beatable side this United could take down for, the real first scalp, which is a first piece of silverware. That's what it's all about. Then silverware, top 4, get the fucking Glazers out, and let's get a good summer together. Get a striker. Tony Martial, he ain't going to cut it. He's injured again. Jesus Christ. Because does this team need number 9
if you listen to this pod, it's funny. You listen to this pod.
And that's 20 goals. Where's 20 goals Martial?
You listen to this podcast, and we are the Muppets.
We're Muppets.
We're numpties, but we've been around the block for a long time, almost 20 years of Manchester United football. And the players who are coming in that everyone's hype about, where they have no track record of being good whatsoever, and they come in, they're not good. Tony Martial going to Sevilla doing nothing. He's not coming back and doing anything. I said that at the beginning of the season. Controversial take. Everyone's hyped about Martial. Preseason Martial. Preseason, that sounds about right to me.
We need a striker. We need a striker. I think Harry Kane about now. That's Wout Weghorst or Harry Kane.
That's about the adversity level that he can handle preseason. Yeah. That's about it. And then it's, I'm good. Hold up the ball, wear my gloves, kind of walk around a little bit. And that's what the Glazers gave us. This shows everyone exactly the difference. Arsenal is owned by an American billionaire, right? They've spent less money. They've done it over a longer period of time. They've backed their manager consistently. They bought in youth.
They have a real front office.
They ditched the bad apples. They ditched Aubameyang. We held on to Paul Pogba. We gave the players more power. Toxic dressing room. Now you're starting to see Erik ten Hag cleaning that out. I think he whiffed hard on Antony. I have to say that. I think I have to say Antony was the rest that's a bad idea.
Yeah, then if he goes 4 for 5, that's still good.
Casemiro came to the good. I don't think who is the guy? De Jong would have been as good as Casemiro. So actually, that came I bet you De Jong comes to United. He's no good. Casemiro
nobody could have better than Casemiro.
No one.
He's the best midfielder.
That's what I'm saying. You get lucky sometimes, but Wout ain't that. He's here because he's
cheap.
Dutch.
Yeah, he's cheap.
But the manager's missing on some of these.
But also, he's
fine. But all I care about is holding them to task, and he's got some lads that are going to fight on the pitch. And that's all I care about. That's all I can judge a manager on. You can't get every transfer right, but he deserves to be wow, what?
Well, I think he didn't get any money. They wouldn't spend money. They wouldn't even go for João Felix because of the $9 million loan fee. So he probably would have wanted a higher caliber striker if they were actually going to spend some cash. But he was in the bargain bin, sir. He's the cardboard box at the front of Best Buy, and we're stuck with.
I like how he gives players chances. I like how he tried to give Donnie another chance.
AWB.
I like how he gave AWB another chance. I like to see Twanzebe in there, but I don't know what's going on with that. I think there's a player in there, but manager doesn't rate him. So United are in a weird phase. Like I said, how can you expect for us to try to compete for a title when our front office is snoozing during the January transfer window when we're absolutely dying for players and the club's being sold? So it's a transition. We're gonna get there. The hardest part about any transition is finding the man to lead it. You listen to all those managers. LVG wasn't the guy. Mourinho wasn't the guy. Moyes wasn't the guy. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was not the guy.
No.
None of them were the guy. We found the guy. So that's the hardest thing to do. Now we need some money, and we got to shoot 50% from the free throw line as far as buying players. So that's all we need to do.
How about we just take a moment to laugh about how dumb Richard Arnold looked sitting next to Sir Alex Ferguson? Just come on. I'll tell you what. When we sell the club,
Get that man some
whoever
paella.
it may be, it's get that guy will be the first guy to lose his job. Because like you said, you're absolutely right. One of the hardest things to do is find the manager and give him the right amount of space and backing to succeed. But we have the real deal manager that understands what it means to be the manager of Manchester United and instill standards that haven't been here since Fergie retired. And you love to see that. So we're building something slowly, but he's still fighting with two arms behind his back, tied, because Martial should have been upgraded in the summer, wasn't. He went to the bargain bin with Wout. He can hold the ball, but he's got to score goals. And the only player that's scoring goals in that front three is Marcus Rashford. Anthony has to do better. And now Sancho maybe come back in the next.
That's gonna be. That's not looking good.
He can't take
It's
players
not
on.
looking good.
I've never
It's
seen
not-
anything like he slows it whenever they're on the break and he has the ball. He slows it down. He slows down and then has the ball come to him.
You gotta give so.
He's drawing players. He
Anyone
scored some
coming
goals.
from the Dutch league has to have a season. The problem is we paid you're good enough now price. So he needs a season.
Yep.
He needs this season to get his game together. And you're going to see how it goes. I mean, Jadon Sancho's had two and a half seasons to try to get it together. Anthony's going to have a season. Rashford had a bad season. Look how he bounces back. So it's really how he does next year for Anthony. But when you pay that type of money, that's like a instant coffee. Let's go now. It's like an instant worldly of a play. I mean, you can't. You look at the top 10 most expensive players in the EPL list. It's don't buy them. Don't ever pay this price for any player.
Well, that player that Chelsea just bought for the same amount of money for $100 million, 85 million euros from the Ukrainian league, who has 10.
I don't know if that's the right price you got there, but
it was. It's the same price as
you're
Anthony.
100. Anthony was 86 million pounds.
Yeah, this was
So
85 million
more.
euro, 86 million, 82 million fucking pounds. I don't know what the exchange rate is today, but it's not like it used to be. But it was in the 80s of millions of euros or pounds.
Of some fiat money.
Yes, of course. But it was a high fee, sir, for a player that hasn't been proven at the top level. So prices have gotten inflated. But Anthony has big shoes to fill. But the manager rates him for a reason, sir. Obviously, he coached him, knows him well, and he's gotten a lot of things right. So he does deserve a season. But what he needs is more players. He needs another midfielder, he needs another striker, and he needs it in January. And he's not going to get it.
Just look at who Arsenal bought in January.
I take Trossard.
Exactly. I mean, they're serious about it, and they're making moves, and they're moving up the table. They had 25 shots to our 6, 5 on target to our 4, 58% of the ball to our 42%. So they dominate XG as well. They're all over us on the stat sheet. Let's get into what did the manager have to say about this game. Top turtleneck, Eric Ten Hag. Top 10 turtleneck, Eric Ten Hag. Here we go.
Oh, that is, I think, too much to talk about. But it was like a pack of cards with the goals we concede, and 2 starting with a corner. And then we make mistakes. We didn't show the discipline in the rules we have there, and then you concede goals.
And obviously, it was towards the end of the game, it felt like you were hanging on. Did you want to make an attacking substitution, or did you feel limited there because Arsenal were putting so much pressure on you, or do you regret not making a change sooner?
I think it was the best setup to win this game. And of course, you had some considerations to bring players in. And of course, especially Garnacho can have an impact. We have seen last weeks, but also then we need a good press. We conceded already 2 from a corner. It was short corners, but still we had a lot of crosses there. And so I think Wout did a really good job there in the pressing and in the heading, in set plays. So Ressi, and you don't want to take him off. With Bruno already, we make a tactic, and I think I think it came out with a really good position from him, and then pass to Rashford in the back of the defending line, and then the moment with between the defending line and the keeper. So we had our moments there. So, and then we also missed some plays, and so also on the bench you are limited in offensive. We know that.
Look, pragmatic presser from the manager. Although me and Alex arguing about the Wout, like
the pump up Wout. You know what?
Give Wout.
He's our only
pump
fit
up
number
him.
9. That's why, because
He's
all he's
pumping
got.
him
Bro.
up.
He's all he's
pumping
got.
him up. Like
He played better than the Palace game.
He didn't even have a shot. He didn't even do it.
He played better than McTominay, bro. He played better than Aaron Wan-Bissaka did.
He had one good flick on our break.
He had some good hold up play,
nothing.
but he didn't do much. But neither did half the side.
How do
He
you
did better,
big up
he did
a
better than
striker?
Anthony, arguably.
How do you pump up a striker who doesn't score?
Because that's all he's got, bro. He has no other options at number 9.
Give
Literally
me a
nobody.
break,
We have
you
nobody.
see that guy run around the field like he looks like it is.
He's very tall.
There's players.
He's very tall.
Look, here's the deal. I'll criticize Anthony. He can play for Manchester United. He can be a player. It's just he's got to figure out his game. Wout ain't.
You don't think so? You don't think
Wout's
Wout's got
like,
it?
why is this guy here wearing that shirt running around?
'Cause we're broke,
like,
bro.
It
'Cause
is
we're not
like
spending
that.
any money.
It is like stark contrast. Like won't get it. Won't make a difference.
So what's
Like,
the
it's
now
not that.
prediction? 2 games in. How many goals does he finish his Manchester United career with, sir? I want a prediction.
Over under 3.5 in all competitions.
In all competitions, give me a over and under. That's definitely the over under.
He could be like the way you use him is literally bring him
Against
on
Forest.
in the 75th minute for hoofball show. Like, I mean, we've seen this in the past. It's embarrassing to do, but it's literally like get him in there, back him up, and like try to have him head the ball. It's like that's like what it is.
back it up.
And instead, we're like running him around like he's gonna be this like counter pressing number 9, and it's like
That's all he got. That's all he got.
yeah, it's
It's the Wout show.
good for.
Good for him. He was playing in Turkey like a week
Imagine
ago.
failing and then getting signed by Manchester United. Like, I wish I've had that type of luck in my life, but unfortunately I have not. First place, it's Arsenal, 50 points. They played 19. They got a game in hand on the 5 teams below them. It's looking like theirs to lose. Man City played 20, 45 points. Newcastle played 20, 39. And in 4th position, Manchester United played 20, 39 points. Tottenham behind us with 33. Brighton behind Tottenham, tied with Fulham on 31. Aston Villa is still not in the top 10.
They're 11th. They're
Just
they're
watching
1 point
that.
behind Chelsea. I know.
Just watching Aston Villa at the
They
top
will.
10.
They
Villa
will finish the
side that
top
you said.
10. I'm
You
confident.
famously coined this pod that they
Top
will
10.
be a top 10 side. They have
will.
not cracked the top 10.
No, they're close. 11th. They're 11th. I should have
I like,
included them.
look at this table. It's really interesting how it's shaping up.
6 point cushion between us and Spurs. Chelsea and Liverpool. We got 10-point cushion. And it's all about, I want to be third. Third and a piece of silverware. And at least another final.
And this is kind of what we're trying to set expectations at as Manchester United fans. So I was saying, I was disappointed we couldn't. You beat Palace. I think there's a little more nerviness with the Gunners. I think us drawing Palace and losing Casemiro gave them like enough. Like if you saw how close fought that game was,
Yeah, we would have won with
if
Casemiro.
we had beat Palace and had Casemiro, I think we win. And I think we're in the title conversation, and I think Arsenal probably fold. It's that type of luck you need to win. And my friend who I watched the game with, who's a big Arsenal fan, he said, when you win a title, you need to win these close, nervy games. And that was a close, nervy game. We pushed them to the 90th minute, and Arsenal ended up getting all 3. And that will be the difference. When you look at them winning the title, it was on the line with us in their house, and they got it done, and that's how you win the league.
And they only remember at the end of the day, they've only lost 1 time this season, and that's the mighty Manchester United at home, 3-1 earlier this season. And we took them to the mat the whole game. They could have dropped more points. That would have opened up an avenue for City. And they ain't done yet. There's a lot of games left, and City have an even deeper squad than Arsenal. And even, I would argue, an even better squad than Arsenal do. But Arsenal are flying. Hats off to them. Arteta, it's proven me wrong, sir. It's proven me wrong left, right, and center. But Manchester United, most importantly, we're in firm position for top 4. That's important for next summer for these
But it's
made-up
important for
financial
us
fair play
not
reasons.
to bottle that. You
No, of
understand?
course.
And if you don't think we can bottle that,
Of course, we could bottle anything.
I mean, we got a 6'6" Wout run around up front. Wait till Rashford stops scoring, and then we need him to score.
Well, there's an
These are the
injury
types
or
of
a bad injury.
dynamics that we're going to be concerned about at United. Like Antony not producing. Like these are things that are like it's gravity. It will catch up with us. Rashford will come down to earth. Not saying he isn't like a world-class player. He can't score 20-plus goals for United, but he's not going to keep scoring every game.
No.
And you're going to be looking around, who's going to do it? And the next one up is probably Garnacho, but that's unfair to him.
18.
Where's the production going to come from? Those are questions we're going to have to ask when we're playing like the likes of Fulham, likes of Wolves in May, and can we do it? Can we hang on to top 4? And so I actually think the battle for top 4 is not done at all. This is going to be a really, really tough challenge for Manchester United. We have our work cut out for us because you look at our squad and we are light and we are not strengthening in key areas. And that I say fun and games, making fun of Martial and Wout, but you have to play another 18 games in the Premier League, and you need goals. And if those guys aren't scoring, then how are you going to get there? And that's a big, big question for Manchester United.
No, it's a great point, and you compound that with the fact that we're in all these cup competitions, right? We got a 2-legged semifinal coming up, so you get no break. FA Cup, we got a 2-legged quarterfinal and round of 16 against Barcelona in February, and these matches are just coming thick and fast, and we have no margin for error because that squad, like you said, the drop off without a Casemiro from McTominay, or even a Martial to a Wout because he's not as good, right? And even Martial is obviously letting us down in many ways, is big. So it's like you're going against Barcelona. They're top of La Liga at the moment. They're going to be a really tough opponent. They got to be strengthening, but as you said, it's like top 4 ain't secure yet. There's a lot of games left. There's a lot of hard games left, and there's no easy games in the EPL. So it's going to be a challenge, but, believe in the manager. But we're going to be like stretching it because this team is so fucking thin that you can't switch it up. You can't give Bruno a rest. You can't give Casemiro a rest. You can't give Varane a rest. You can't give Rashi a rest because no one else is scoring goals.
It's our attack that's really the issue here. Looking at the top 10 sides in the table, we have scored 32 goals. That is even with Fulham and Brentford. Everyone else other than Chelsea, who has been really struggling, has scored more than us.
Yep.
Tottenham has scored 5 more goals. Brighton's scored... Tottenham scored 7 more goals. Brighton scored 5 more goals. Liverpool have scored more. We're even with Fulham and Brentford. And that's with Rashford on record form.
Right.
That's record-breaking form with Marcus Rashford, and we're scoring at the rate of Fulham and Brentford in the league. And that's just not gonna. If Rashford cools off, we're gonna be behind those teams, and holding on to this 4th spot is going to be difficult to do because we just don't have the options, and we're not strengthening. Which is like you could look at all the stats, all the XG, everything, and be like, you need to buy attackers. We are not buying attackers. And the Glazers are focused on selling, and this is a transition season. So to say top 4 is wrapped up, I can't, and Ten Hag has his work cut out to do, but I expect us to get it. It's going to be a dogfight to get it. I think it will come down to the wire.
No, I agree. Without a doubt. We're in a good position, but a lot could change. There's so many matches. Injuries can happen. We don't know how that will affect the squad because of the lack of depth. And it's very clear, right? It's a week away from the window closing. They're not going for anyone else. It's like they're done. They're focused on selling this club. Data room's open, sir. They're trying to squeeze as much cash out while they can. So it's going to be about this manager cobbling together this squad to get it over the line with what we want to accomplish this year, which is top 4 and this piece of silverware. So, hey, big part of that's Wednesday, sir. We got a match coming up. That's going to be a big one.
Top 4 and silverware. It can start against Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United. We're playing at the City Ground semifinal leg 1. That's right. You play 2 semifinals, then a 1-game final. Wednesday, January 25th, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Brought to you by midweekfixtures.com. We seem to be playing every single week. We got games everywhere. The rest of the season's going to be insane. Lifetime versus Forest, 49. We've won, drawn 24, lost 33. First time we played them. We beat them up. No, actually, we drew 1-1 in the first division in 1892. Last 5, we beat them up. We've won 5 straight, the last being December. Prior to that being 1999. Forest had been irrelevant for a while until they signed the moonwalking Jesse Lingard for big money, who hasn't really done too much for them. Form coming in, they drew Bournemouth. They beat Leicester. They beat Wolves on penalties in the EFL Cup. FA Cup, they got battered by Blackpool. And they beat Southampton, relegation-bound Southampton. So
Got beat up by Blackpool. There you go.
all over the board. This should be an easy one. We beat them 3-0 very recently, less than 3 weeks ago. So I'm not worried about this one at all. We'll go to their house, smash and grab.
That's right. This is all back on silverware. This is the number one objective for the next week, which is to get through these 2 legs. Casemiro back on the fold. Let's get the big Dutchman off the score sheet and get him a goal because we're going to need him. But this shouldn't be a problem for Manchester United. Like if this team is legit and we're building something, this should be nothing because we saw how easily we dispatched them a little bit earlier in the season. I don't even think we were in top form then. So back to business, bro. 3 points, wins. Let's go.
Injuries for Manchester United. Donnie's out for the season. Martial, he's maybe a knock. He's complaining about something. It says other as far as injury is concerned. Sounds about right. Casemiro, he's going to be back. Butland is out. Sancho's back with the first team. Delot has a thigh injury. No return still. That one important today. You saw the back post. We were playing really well. Delot adds more balance in attack than AWB, although AWB has some of those crazy challenges in the box you'd love to see. Given those injuries, what is your lineup for Nottingham Forest?
De Gea back in net. Not back in net, staying in net. Who else? AWB, Maguire, because of their lack of pace. I'm going to give him some minutes and let Varane get a blow. Martinez, Malacia, Casemiro, Bruno, Eriksson, Rashford, Wout up front, and Garnacho on the right. Who you got, sir?
I'm going to say De Gea, AWB, Varane, Martinez, Malacia, Casemiro, Bruno, Eriksson, Rashford, Wout, and Anthony. The side picks itself, in my opinion. It's going to be stronger than you want to see, but we want to get this thing done in the first leg away from home. What are the bookies' odds?
Forest at the underdogs, plus 410, plus 270 for the draw, and minus 165 for mighty Manchester United to get your money back, sir. Given those the odds, what is your score prediction?
I'm confident in this one. I think we'll batter them 3-1. We'll give up a goal. We're good for it.
2-0. United press on until the second leg at home. Hopefully that's a little bit less nervy. Reading on the weekend, so their game's coming thick and fast.
United in the news. Manchester United eyeing up swoop for Harry Kane. How dare you put this in?
It's
here?
all over the
Get out of
news.
here.
We gotta talk about your boy. He's
Not
gonna
my
be
boy
30.
at all. Get out
He's
of here.
gonna be. We did it all this game. That game we play all the time in this pod, by the way.
You mean low energy Kane? I know him.
He's turning 30 this summer. He ain't winning nothing with the mighty Spurs of North London because they're not winners. And you know what? Would you take Harry Kane? They're gonna
if it was
demand
between
top dollar. They're
if-
gonna demand like
okay.
$80 million for old man Kane.
I also got to talk about my striker calls. Gapco said don't sign him. How's he doing? Horrible. Nunez, I said I said the same thing about Nunez. Didn't think he was that good. Doing horrible for Liverpool. Harry Kane, he can do something for you, but you're never going to be able to get value per the money you're going to have to pay Daniel Levy to get him out of there. Look, Harry Kane's cursed because his dumb numpty brother signed a 6-year deal at like Tottenham Hotspur. It's like clearly you signed shorter It's like, how do you not know that you signed shorter contracts so that you, the player, have more power and can negotiate? I don't understand. So it was a dumb
like
deal.
his brother's not an agent.
Yeah,
It's just his
exactly.
brother.
And it sounds like Harry Kane's the type of guy to listen to his brother. And look, he's a player wearing the United shirt. Could I see him scoring 20? Yeah. I can see him on penalties for United. I could see him scoring a lot for United. I think he would fit our style pretty well, but I just don't think you can get him out of Tottenham. Like anyone knows, like this is decades of knowledge in football in the EPL is you do not negotiate with Levy. Like it's just not. You don't look at Tottenham Hotspur and be like, oh, let's go get Son.
Yeah,
no, he's never going to give you a deal.
Right. Yeah, yeah. You got to pay over the odds.
Just like we're the opposite. We're like the opposite of Daniel Levy, where we just like sell players for cheapest bargain bin, like lose money everywhere
And
like,
overpay for everybody.
Like, so like he's probably too stingy to the point where he hurts his team. We're probably too like sloppy to the point where it hurts our team, where we sell everything at the worst price and can't get anyone to pay anything. So
or pay for Anthony double his value. But Harry Kane, I have to agree with you. I think it would work from a footballing perspective because he doesn't have to be the guy. He doesn't have to be like the leader because we have so many leaders now in this team that all he has to do is score goals. But I think the big problem is I'm not as concerned with the age because he's got a pretty good injury record. And 30 is like the new 25 now these days. Look at Casemiro. But I think it's you're right. It's like if you can get it for 40 million, I'd be like all day. You get him and a young striker like a Gapco, and you're off to the races.
No, Gapco went to Liverpool and sucks.
Not Gapco. Who's Gapco? Sesko. I'm sorry.
Jesus
big
Christ.
Sesko. That big lad. Poor man's Holland. You get the two of them, that would be a great mix. But the problem is you're not gonna be able to get Harry Kane for less than like 80 million. And that it's a hard justification. Even if he's giving you 20 goals,
You're not getting him for 80 million. Even that, you're not going to get him for 80 million.
No, 80. I think you part with them at 85 million pounds. That's a shit ton for a 30-year-old.
It would have to be It would have to be the record fee.
English record, like 105.
It would have to be the English record, 100%. Probably 120.
Yeah,
this is
good.
Levy. Levy asks for like this most stupid price and doesn't budge. And then you don't need a saga. You don't need that. So
it'll be a hell of a saga.
And by the way, we're having new owners in like 6 to 9 months. So like, who's buying who right now? All these rumors are just trolling you. They're just trolling you. Like no one's.
There we go. I'm trolling you, sir. That's what it is.
Next bit of news, Manchester United looking to tie down exciting youngster Alejandro Garnacho. We've talked about this 8-year contract. I mean, I like that an 8-year contract, but it has to be a buyout clause that undermines that. So again, this has to be coming from the club, like selling this deal, because there's no way he'd be signing an 8-year contract at $30K a week.
No, apparently he wants a buyout clause. Now, Manchester United has historically not inserted buyout clauses in their contracts, which I think is the right philosophy and right approach. But
if you that's $200 million, yeah, sure, that's fine.
Million, there you go. Obviously, long contract is good, but it's interesting to see how this is playing out. It's like they said, oh, it's agreed. We've heard a number like £34,000 a week. But now the 8-year contract, that's just an odd one, how long it is. But we'll see how this develops. He's obviously a player that we want to keep around. But buyout clause, you'd want to set it to like the dumb limits that they do in Spain, like $1 billion buyout clause.
Next bit of news here. Valencia make fresh approach to sign Facundo Pellistri on loan. Ten Hag wants him to stay. And obviously, we're thinking about Marco Reus as well. But what do you make of the Facundo not going on loan? This one, play him. You got to play him. I know we have a lot of matches coming up, but Nottingham Forest would be a great time for him to play, like 20 or 30 minutes. So this is on Ten Hag. I would say he's got to go if you're not going to play him. So he should have more minutes, in my opinion. He's been on the bench way too long.
He should definitely have more minutes. I totally agree with you there. I think he needs to go on loan because he's not going to get the number of minutes that he needs in order to continue to develop. Look at Ahmad, right? His loan's going as well as we could have hoped for, right? Was just named player of the month in the championship. Just scored another goal today, I believe. Facundo, he's had some bad loans. The Alves loans did not work out well. Didn't get minutes. They were like in a relegation fight, and he wasn't playing enough. He's a player. He is a player. He plays for the Uruguay side, but he just can't get into this team. And we just, we got Sancho waiting in the wings. We got Anthony. We got Alanga, right? There's new noise about him last time we spoke. What do you think about Marco Reus, sir? What do you think about 33-year-old Marco Reus? This feels like a Glazer signing. His agent was at Old Trafford the other day.
He's fishing.
That must be it. Yeah.
I would sign him on a 2-year Eriksson type of deal. Fine. I like Marco Reus. Like who wouldn't?
He was a player.
He is a player. This doesn't really. It does not a solution. Number 9, number 9. Like we need a
couple of them.
Get Martial. See you later. Like goodbye. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Get out. Get rid of Martial. Get him out of here. Get a new striker in. Get 3 new strikers in. Like we need to be making moves. Marco Reus does not solve that problem for us at the end of the day. Jadon Sancho should be playing on the right, Marcus Rashford on the left, and we should have a world-class number 9 through the middle at Manchester United because we have a world-class midfield and our defense is looking pretty good. Probably need another right back.
Yep.
But other than that, and then you have the keeper question. Obviously, De Gea is going to stay, but that's really what we got to be focused. So Marco Reus doesn't solve that. Facundo loan, I'm okay with it. And then the next bit of news here.
This solves it.
You love when
In the data room. Oh, it's a data room.
you love when Simon Stone or these guys who don't know nothing about M&A commenting on it. They're like, Manchester United, Simon Stone, Manchester United's data room is open. This allows organizations to access United's company information, including documents.
Yeah, like, come on.
So you know what shape it is in before they decide whether to make a bid. It has been decided to not charge for this. First of all, you never charge for a data room.
Charge to go to the data room.
No one is charged to go into a data room. A data room is basically information the club shares to show. Obviously, it's a public company, so most of the information is already out there. There is some additional information, like contracts, etc.
Right.
That would be in this data room. All you need for this is interest and signing an NDA. So it is very easy if you are a billionaire and could afford the club to get into this data room. Question is more of the contents of it. There'll probably be like something about the stadium.
Their model, they probably have a financial model.
There'll be a lot of
They
it,
have, like the
a
brand
lot,
contracts,
like contract waterfalls,
Right,
etc. Like the details.
all the player contracts, all the
Exactly.
debt obligations there, right? Like
Yeah,
the corporation.
so, like,
all
the way
that
the way they obfuscate the debt in the books. It is in it's if you read the 10K or 10Q, it's in like a payables owed, and they give you like a time frame, like this is how much money we owe in a year, and in 2 years, and in 3 years, and like how it's broken up between like probably we owe Ajax like 30 million a year for 5 years.
Right.
Like they don't show you that detail in the 10Q, 10K, but they show you the total, and there's a lot of noise in what that actually is, as far as like those payables and how concrete or can they renegotiate. So how much debt did the club actually owe? I'm sure that's probably the big item here if you're looking at it. What you would want to know is how much money do you actually contractually owe? What are the terms of that money? And then when you're calculating the enterprise value, you're obviously adding the debt back, subtracting the cash. So what is actually debt? What is not? So for them, there's a lot of work to be done. This is the very early innings, right? When you're starting to get access to the data room, it's step one. Usually it's LOI. Hey, I want to buy the club. Here's a letter. And the letter's worth nothing. You just say, hey, I'm interested in paying $6 billion for the club. You submit the letter. They give you access to the data room. And then it comes down to the second round of bidding, where then you have to show how you're going to pay for it. And then they show you more information. So there's usually rounds of bidding. But this would be the very first stage. So people are saying, they've gone around the world. They said, we're for sale, we're for sale. People have raised their hands. I want to buy. Then now Manchester United is like lifting up their skirt, showing them all the dirty laundry. And then it's going to be like, okay, who actually wants to buy it? How are you going to pay for it? How fast can you close the deal? And then that's when you're talking about like sticking points and terms and working capital negotiations on like what they owe, what you owe, who's paying for what on what side of the deal. And like, that's when you get to how many horses there are. And then it becomes like a bidding race. And then you end up closing one of them. And then it goes into the 6 to 9 months actually closing everything. So it's a long process. This is very early. So just so you know, this is not that exciting. It's the beginning of the process.
Well, there you go. Beginning of the process is better than no process at all, because for Manchester United fans, we've been hanging around with these Glazers far too long. It's the start of something, but like you said,
it's real
just
though.
Getting going. Yeah, they have a data
This is
room.
100%
There is a
real.
process. They have documents and they have info that they're looking to share with potential buyers. So it's a good start, but we're a long way away from the Glazers being gone.
The next bit of news from these guys are going to be like how many bidders are interested.
Yeah, and who's
right?
interested.
That's really
Maybe a
the
price,
juicy,
maybe a number.
and then it's going to be like deal agreed, press release, New York Stock Exchange.
Pending,
worldwide, like,
pending diligence.
Manchester United have agreed, or like X person has agreed to acquire Manchester United, price per share X.
Yeah.
That would be the announcement, and then it takes months to like actually close that. Lots of lawyers hard at work, doing the Lord's work, if you would say. But Manchester United could be sold. I mean, this is the biggest thing that we could have ever asked for. You got green and gold scarves all over in the pod room. We've been asking them to leave for a long time. You look at the team that our manager has to put out against Arsenal, and they're going to be gone. So, I mean, this is the best news you could ever get, right? It is happening. It's going to take a while, but it's unbelievable. I almost don't believe it.
No, I'm not going to believe it until that press announcement comes out from after the market closes, saying that there's a buyer, there's a seller, there's a price, and there's a new future and a new hope at Manchester United, because that's it. It's like, I'm very hopeful they'll be better than the Glazers and give a shit about the club and want to invest in the club and, support the manager, build back. Let's bring it back, sir. There's so much promise to this club and with a lot of these players, and, there's a formula to it. Arsenal did it. They backed their manager. They put in a solid front office, and they've been signing young players. And we can do the same thing, sir. Even more people want to come play for Manchester United than Arsenal.
Facts. At Mike United Mets, quote, around the 65th minute, you could tell our backs were against the wall, and we didn't have a single player who could be subbed on to change the game. It has taken Arteta 3 years to get to this position. Arsenal will still bottle it. Will Ten Hag win the league by 2026?
Depends on who those buyers are. Maybe the Glazers pull out of the sale, which is not going to happen. But if the new people come in and they're real stingy and they make bad decisions and they leave in Richard Arnold or they fire Eric Ten Hag, things can go bad. But if they invest in this manager, I think he can win a title within 3 years, without a doubt. It's like if they invest in the team, back the manager, put great people around them. I'm optimistic. It's going to take a lot. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to spend a lot of money and you got to build a lot of discipline.
It's not about the reason Arsenal are going to win the league is because the earth has just opened up and swallowed two of the big teams, like Liverpool and Chelsea, just out of nowhere have a bad season. City aren't quite clicking. Pep's probably got to rebuild that situation. He's in the middle of that, and so it's almost like there has to be timing. So the only way it works out for Arteta to win the league with this lot, honestly, and I don't think they're that good. Although Saka's probably proven me wrong.
No, he's the real deal. He looked good on our right wing, I'll tell you that.
Yes, he looked better than Anthony. Yes, he looked a lot better than Anthony.
Slow it down, Anthony.
It's the timing of it. It's just all coming together for Arsenal, and that's why I thought beating Crystal Palace and taking it to them. This is kind of like a no man's land title. People look back on this year and be like, Arsenal won what? I think if City are ripping, not a chance.
There's a lot of season
so it's
left.
almost like they're going to win by default. Nobody can get there. Tottenham took a step back this season. We took 2 steps forward, but it's not enough. And Chelsea 3 steps back. Liverpool 3 steps back. And then City are just can't get going. So I just don't know if the opportunity is going to be there for us to win it in 3 years, because there's going to be so much. Think of this season, if we had everything lined up, City's going to be back. Liverpool are going to get someone's going to invest in them. They're going to be back. Chelsea's going to be back.
They'll figure it
Everyone's
out.
there's going to be so much more competition. Newcastle's coming. I just feel like there's going to be so many horses that can I say he's going to win it in 3 years? Will we be in a title race? Yes. Will we win it? That's probably
because you need to do more than just play well. That's a good point. It's like Leicester, when they won it, they needed the stars to win. They played very well. They got a lot of that squad. But you just some
Pep
years.
Guardiola leaves, if Klopp leaves, yeah, and then
But there'll be a new Pep or a new Klopp. It's
No.
just they are top managers. I'm not going to argue there, but it's a good point. It's you could play great and still lose. So I like to think we'll win one in 3 years, but I have a feeling. I just have this hunch that the drought's going to go a lot longer based on the fact that we had it so good for so long. I'm thinking a 20-year drought. So we got another 10 years, sir. I'm thinking.
At Juliansdale 95, quote, if we get new owners, what needs to be the first development for United? I see it as the first team, then training ground, then youth stadium. I see it, the first priorities are first team, training ground, youth, then stadium. What are your thoughts on the priorities for new owners?
Number one job. First thing I would change is front office. I'd fire Richard Arnold. I'd fire John Murtaugh. Probably fire Darren Fletcher as well. And bring in world-class talent from around Europe and put them in place. That would be the number one thing I would do, because that will kind of roll downhill all of the subsequent decision-making. And at the end of the day, those individuals are all in positions that they don't deserve to be in. Eric Ten Hag is the only one in a position where he actually earned it and is the right man for it. So that's what I would do first, and everything else, will come after that.
That's a great point. How many people get jobs at Manchester United, Wout included, that they don't deserve. Like Arnold doesn't deserve to be there. Murtaugh doesn't deserve to be there. Wout probably doesn't deserve to,
Again, hit him again. Hit him
like
again.
Fletcher doesn't deserve
No,
to,
he doesn't.
No, but
Really
like
doesn't.
deserve to play, to wear the shirt for Manchester. I mean, like, you're not like picking up like relegated bum players from teams that were relegated last season who got banished to Turkey and coming to play at the greatest football club of all time. Like, it's not like a thing that if you're running the club well, it shouldn't be happening. It's not. We don't need a scout team. He'd be good on the scout team if we had one.
Like the B squad, like
the team
practice squad,
like the team the first team plays against, to get them better.
Scout team.
There ain't no scout team. So what are you doing? So yeah, it's probably front offices / first team. That's like the whole. It's front office for me. Getting the you put your what's our goal to win 21. That has to be on everything. That has to be on everyone's mind. It's not on everyone's mind. Dividend, cash runway. That's what's on everyone's mind. At Dave Paz, quote, "We lost to a team who are 3 years into the rebuild and had a week to prepare. We had 3 days and our best midfielder was out. We gave it a real good go, so not disappointed. We were better than I thought we would be at the beginning of the season." I think that's everyone. I think that's a great way to look at this one. And at Jamal Motal, last tweet here, "Sirs, crap ending to an exciting match. The VAR gods betrayed us. How is Zinchenko not offsides?" I thought the same. Marcus is still humming, and that couldn't be more exciting to see. Leach's first goal, face mangled and all. We had a
Amazing.
good run, but Eric Ten Hag needs reinforcements now, not in the summer. Hashtag Glazers out. The Glazers ain't going to give you nothing.
not a dollar.
They're going to give us nothing on the way out the door, and that's okay by me because it's just let him go, sir. This season, like I said, hardest thing to find is the coach. We found him. Now we need the oil state money.
Yeah, Dubai, come on in, baby.
Insert
We're ready for
here.
ya.
Get a new stadium, sir. Upgrade our season tickets.
Oh yeah, moving on up.
Moving on
up.
Look, that's it. That's the podcast. You like America Red Devils. We are for fans, by fans. Please check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils, our website, americadevils.com, americareddevils.store. Drop a review, share, like everything that we put out is just us. No one pulling the strings behind the scenes other than me and Alex doing this in our spare time because we love this club, love this team. We're on a high when they win. We're devastated when they lose. Hashtag pot therapy. You've seen it all. So let's get our top 10 down those last 7 days.
Woo, couldn't do it without y'all. We love the American Red Devil community. Top 10 cities, last 7 days. Number 1, how you doing? How you doing? New York, New York. Ooh, I'm going to bottle this one. Tappahannock, Virginia. How'd I do? Indianapolis, Indiana. Phoenix, Arizona. Knoxville, Tennessee. Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Milford, Massachusetts. London, England. Queens, New York. Appreciate you. And last but not least, Lagos, Nigeria. We also got Oslo. We got San Diego. We got Delhi. We got Lugano. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We couldn't do it without you. Big game midweek. Nottingham Forest. Jesse Lingard. Talking more shit about Manchester United, sir. Apparently, we didn't have enough game rooms for him. But a big match coming up on Wednesday.
Ronaldo and Jesse Lingard could say the right things about Manchester United and still be the problem, right?
Who?
All right, we're going to leave you with a classic. Kicking a blue.